As I said in our previous posts about Dogma, Dogma is the most dangerous thing to ever exist in our world. My name is Lono, and I'm a Kahuna priest from the Eagle's Nest family. I teach an ancient system of high-order awareness known as Huna Wisdom. Huna Wisdom exposes unreal dogma, and that's why our byline is that the Eagle's Nest family is the place where dogma comes to die in the light of reality. My Eagle's Nest family is designed to heal our bodies, our minds, and our spirits. To heal our bodies, we defeat medical dogma by teaching our members a diet that will maintain optimal health and wellness and restore health, even of people seriously compromised by chronic, debilitating disease. It really works. Those who follow this diet and use the natural medicines I suggest have healed from cancers, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and its many associated problems, autoimmune diseases, high blood pressure, long COVID, many others. To heal our minds, I help people learn how not to be taken in by dogma that's essentially designed to disempower you, your families, and your communities in favor of a certain very small group of billionaires that now increasingly control our governments, our educational institutions, our industries, our legacy media, our justice system, our money, and more. Now, in doing this, we affirm over and over that there's a place inside of you that can transcend the need to believe anything. That's probably my core message of all of my work. With a bit of common sense guided by high-order perspectives, you don't need to be vulnerable to being scammed or taken in by dogma. Reality or truth is always self-evident to those who have discovered this place in their awareness, and they're willing to honor it, and have the courage to honor it, even though it may take a lot of courage to brave the attacks of those who have mistaken their passionately held beliefs for that which is actually real. Finally, to heal our spirits, I help people transcend spiritual dogma that wants people to believe that either there's no higher power or spirit that created our universe, or that the only path to God is through their proprietary church. In fact, you are connected to God in your spirit, in your heart. And to do that, I help people remember their connection to the all that is, which is the only definition of God that can possibly make any sense. Now, in doing so, I show my family members how this God is absolutely personal, that this God is completely made out of love and loves you personally, whomever you are, unconditionally. And I know this because I've died twice. I've met God. I teach you not only how to talk to this God, but how to listen so you can hear what this loving presence out of which you're made is trying to tell you. And I also warn people not to give in to the hate engendered by this modern New Age religion of being woke, no matter how they're trying to redefine it. It's a religion. And whether that hate is personally directed to people like Donald Trump right now, or Republicans in general, or his counterparts on the left side of the political spectrum known as liberals, that hatred is not only corrosive to our society, but those who think that that kind of energy is cool and bonds you to a similar peer group don't realize how corrosive such energy is to one's own soul. So in this way, the Eagle's Nest family is like a marriage between a healthy family, a school, a source of spiritual food, and a system of unusually effective medicine, and a way that our members can prosper by helping each other and by helping our family grow. Now, through most of human history, that's been the role of a traditional healthy family. And that's what my version of a kahuna priest is and does. We create healthy families. Now, as I said on my first presentation on dogma versus reality, when I look around today, what I see is a lot of people who are confused and afraid. I'm sure you see the same thing. And that's no accident. It's by design. Confused and fearful people are easily manipulated into giving away their power. The primary objective of dogma is to create confusion and fear that will drive people into the arms of those promoting the dogma. Well, how does that happen? Historically, most of us get our news from the legacy media. These are the sources like the major cable networks, newspapers, certain magazines, and books. And while these so-called news and or information outlets are still popular, they're on the wane. Revelations that the CIA and other government agencies are regularly feeding these outlets with propaganda have seriously eroded the public's trust. This, in turn, has caused social media sites to grow at a pace that the legacy media finds terrifying. Not being willing to be left without a primary means of disseminating propaganda to these millions, as certain of the internet behemoths like Google, Facebook, Twitter, and others started reaching tens of millions of people on a daily basis, the CIA, the FBI, the U.S. State Department, and other government unelected bureaucracies quietly began infiltrating these organizations to affect the ordinary citizen's perception of our world in ways designed to preserve the power of the billionaire elite and their elected minions at the expense of truth. To many, this was completely obvious. But nevertheless, those who noticed and spoke out were branded as nutcases, or the elite's favorite epithet, which is conspiracy theorists. The stunning extent to which our government was attempting to influence opinions and attitudes came to the surface after Elon Musk bought Twitter. The revelations of the depth of that illegal behavior sparked other whistleblowers to come forward with their own bone-chilling stories about the disinformation campaign being waged by these secretive government agencies through social media to create a disinformation campaign designed to alter the political landscape in favor of the entrenched Washington elite. And sadly, believe it or not, many Americans are still completely unaware of how their government was lying to the world, not only to affect our democracy when it involved elections, like they did with not disclosing the truth about Hunter Biden's laptop prior to the last election, but to gin up support for a needless war that makes the billionaire elite even richer. Being branded as a conspiracy theorist is an epithet commonly applied to those who challenge the Washington elite's narrative. For those of you who don't know what an epithet is, it's a short tag conveying a negative or dehumanizing representation of the person or group to which they are being addressed. Other terms include labeling people as racist or sexist or extremist or homophobes, etc. Now, while there may be a grain of truth underlying such a label in a few cases, but the goal is to promote dogma by dehumanizing the target of the epithet. In other words, epithets are designed to shut down communication via respectful dialogue, so that when you hear a person using such terms, you can know that they're promoting dogma. Ignore them. Unless a person or persons are willing to engage in respectful dialogue, they aren't worth taking seriously. When epithets fail, the next technique is censorship, or hiding facts that make a difference to the dialogue, or inserting phony facts that will make a difference to the dialogue. Now, that's extremely common when a government tries to convince its population that their deficit spending won't cause inflation. What baloney. Or that inflation isn't as bad as people think it is. Or when the government wants to promote a war for the benefit of the military-industrial complex that President Eisenhower warned us about. Or when our medical experts want us to believe that certain kinds of medical procedures should be mandated, but they cover up evidence of its ineffectiveness or harm in ways that, for the general population, is very difficult to detect. In fact, because human beings do have the inborn ability to detect truth when it's presented without distortion or censorship, it's never in the highest and best interest of the citizens of any country to tolerate censorship. All it does is protect unethical and or ideological people from losing their positions of power. Reject the arguments of any person who promulgates censorship in any form, especially if they want to have some sort of leadership role in society. By the way, it's one thing to want to not expose young children to books with explicit sexual content from adults who have the capacity to decide for themselves whether or not it's something that is appropriate for them to be reading. So limiting reading material for young people, that's not censorship. We're talking about adults. And when censorship happens, you can know their intention is not in your highest and best interests. Another technique to promote dogma is misassociation. And that happens when a person like Fauci states that he is science, and attacking him is the equivalent of attacking science. What baloney. Another place this is commonly used is with arguments about climate change. How often do we hear that the science of climate change is settled, and that those who disagree with certain approved conclusions have the epithet climate denier applied to them? Now, in fact, most scientists do endorse the observation that our climate changes. And to do otherwise would be patently ridiculous. The question most scientists do not agree with is the extent to which this is caused by human industrialization and fossil fuels, the degree for which this will affect humanity, and whether the effect will be positive or negative, and over what period of time, or how to deal with it. Now, when proponents of radical efforts to deindustrialize society in the name of a climate crisis trot out a young girl like Greta Thunberg who makes an emotional plea for these draconian measures like eliminating all automobiles and airplanes and all of that sort of thing, you can know that emotion is overriding rational dialogue. And dogma is the goal of that communication. Now, whether the issue is climate change, the Me Too movement, the need to demonize capitalism, illegal immigration, abortion, gender surgery for young children, the rights of trans people to perform drag shows with children in attendance or for children, or many other issues designed to change our social fabric, as soon as emotional thinking, which is the lowest form of awareness, takes the place of rational dialogue, you can know that dogma's at work. And it won't be helpful to give that dialogue any credibility. And responding to it gives it credibility it doesn't deserve. Now, the point here is that emotional rhetoric does not tolerate dissent. Rational dialogue welcomes dissent because rational people understand that solutions require contrasting and comparing opinions and being willing to admit all facts into the conversation without exception. Emotional thinking finds that process extremely threatening, and for such people, capitulating to their emotional arguments is the only acceptable conclusion. Now, in a very direct way, this is no different than when scientists were called heretics and imprisoned or burned at the stake by the medieval Catholic Church fathers because they dared highlight where the Catholic dogma was in serious error. So dogma is composed of short-sighted personal opinions about reality designed to give one group of people power over another. This is how dogma inevitably creates societal struggles, whether the arena is medicine, environmental issues like climate change, the economy, relationships, and especially politics and religion. None of these things help people benefit when they promulgate dogma disguised as reality. Always remember that reality is what it is. It doesn't change. This kind of universal reality I like to call reality with the big R, as opposed to our personal realities with the little r. This big R includes the principles upon which this world is built. Science teaches us that these principles are universal, they're eternal, and they live in complete harmony with one another. The more we learn about them, the more we realize how true that is. God, universe, nature, reality, all that is, they're all words that can be used to identify the creator or cause of all of these eternal principles. The universal reality doesn't care what we think of it, or what we think it should be, or what we want it to be, no matter how badly we want it to align with our own worldviews. When it comes to reality, we have only two choices. We can either live in harmony with it, or we can choose not to and get pain. The choice is ours. Now, in future episodes of Pearls of Wisdom, we'll come to understand why the universe is designed this way, why pain is actually a medicine provided by a loving God, and that is to help unconscious beings wake up. And the universe can deliver far more pain to wake us up than any of us can stand. Also remember that when our choices reflect reality, we enjoy a flow of life energy. The closer we live in harmony with reality, the more life energy, joy, and peace we all enjoy. When our choices are based on beliefs or dogma, that is, inaccurate representations of reality, we get pain. And like it or not, that's how our world is built. So I would appreciate your input. What do you see as common hallmarks of dogma? Let me know in the comment section below. And because I'm just getting started on this platform, I would really appreciate it if you would please help me, help you and the many others who want to continue to hear these messages to spread. Now, if you're one of those special people who can see the value in what we're doing here, please hit that like button, tell others we're here, subscribe to our channel, and hit that bell icon so you can get notified as we post new presentations. And please know that it's important for me to gain your trust so that you're going to want to join our family. And that's why I'll always welcome your suggestions, your respectful comments, and cogent insights. Now, on the other hand, if you're one of the woke crowd and you feel so challenged by my perspectives you can't resist the need to personally belittle me, that's okay too. Just know you'll be wasting your time. As I counsel everyone, when people feel the need to personally attack those with whom they disagree, rather than engage them in respectful dialogue, they simply reveal the places they most need to wake up. And in the next message, we're going to explore the perspectives from which the light of reality can be seen by anybody who's willing to go there. Now, this is the only medicine that can heal a world in pain. Thank you for joining me today. Hopefully you understand more about the nature of dogma and how to recognize it. Make sure you check out the first two podcasts that are previous to this one for the entire picture. And then answer this question. Can you agree that rational dialogue is the only solution to finding solutions for difficult social problems? and that emotional tirades that won't permit disagreement are the problem. If you agree this is valuable, you can help me and the family spread the word, again, by hitting that thumbs up button and subscribing. Also hit the notification bell, because these short presentations build on one another, and if your goal is avoiding confusion and fear, you won't benefit when you miss one. Also know that you're welcome to leave a comment on what you think of today's presentation, and let me know what you feel I can do to improve. As I said, my goal with these presentations is to earn your trust so that you'll consider joining our Eagle's Nest family. It's the only place where you can learn the principles of high order awareness and share values with others who look at the world in the same way. To learn more about how our Eagle's Nest family provides for the health, education, and welfare of our members, there's a link in the description below. Aloha and mahalo.